Hi, what company are you from?
Sorry?
What company are you from?
Sorry. PCH International.
And what do they do?
It's a supply chain management company.
And what do you do? What's your role?
I was the founder and I'm the CEO.
Wow, so you're obviously very well achieved. Is there any advice you'd give young people? TechSpace is all about creativity and young people involved in technology. So do you have any words of wisdom?
I think that, with all of the hard skills of learning the technology, don't forget the soft skills. Okay? The personal interaction, the people side of it is as important. In some cases, it's more important.
So as young people, we have a lot of support and we have a big chain of people to help us, but you mightn't have growing up. What was your motivation to get involved?
So, in sport, and I come from Dunamore, which is very close to where you're from, Ballincollig. There's a very good sports network there. There was always hurling, football were always very popular. Running was very popular. So, and again, as I went through the school system, I went to primary school in Fairmount, and then I went to secondary school in Blarney, and then I went to School of Commerce when I dropped out of Blarney after a while. And I felt, a lot of the time in school, I was always thinking about, I was a great daydreamer, right? And that's one of the things I always say to people, in any situation you're in, you should always learn. It's really important. If somebody puts you into a situation, even if it's a situation you don't like, learn from it. It's important, right? I always tell people, travel, because that's really important as well. But most importantly, I always tell people to dream, because if you can dream something, you can do it. And that's important.
So you're from a very rural background. What was your inspiration?
I grew up on a farm in Dunamore, a dairy farm, and I enjoyed actually working on the farm. It was good fun. Going to school to me, it was more fun than anything else. I wasn't great at school, and I never really put a huge amount of energy into it. But I always enjoyed it, right? Not always, but a lot of the time I enjoyed it, and I tried to get as much out of it as I could. Inspiration today comes in different ways. I remember, and I was talking to somebody yesterday about it here, and I'm reading a book at the moment about Tony Ryan, the founder of GPA and then the founder of Ryanair. And I'm reading a book about him, and it reminded me of a story I read about him when I was very young. I was actually only about 15 or 16, and I read a story about how he was so successful in business and about how some of his philosophies in business. And to me, at a very young age, that actually inspired me. Today, when you're growing up, you have access to so much more data, and you can read about people, you can read about businesses, and you can read about hobbies or whatever, because you have access to the internet, and it's completely different to when I was growing up.
So you weren't a bookworm in school, but you are very well achieved. So what do you consider success to be?
Success is a journey, it's not a destination. It's not somewhere you arrive at, right? It's something that happens, and it never changes. And that's why you always have to stay humble, and you have to stay very focused on what you're doing, because you never know what's around the corner, and you have to stay, keep your head on the ground, keep your feet on the ground, stay focused.
So TechSpace is all about young people. Do you have any advice for them maybe going into their future?
Learn, travel, and dream.
And do you have a word to describe the summit here today?
It's phenomenal. People talk about this being the largest tech company or largest tech event in Europe. This is probably one of the most innovative and creative tech conferences in the world. I've been to tech conferences all over the world. Very few compare to this. Very few are as big as this. Very few are as sophisticated and have as much context as this.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.